It's the orientation of Sanibel. There are lots of barrier islands between where our shell environment is and where we are, but they're all oriented north and south. So most of that current flow goes right beyond those islands, and there's only one island that's not north and south. It's east and west, and that island is Sanibel. Now these are shells that are readily available in this area. They were all found right near here. Now, bivalves and univalves, what do we mean by that? This is an example of a bivalve. This is called a docinia. And anytime it takes two shells to make the whole, it's called a bivalve. These are actually vegetarians. That may be a surprise. They consume plant life out of the water. The univalve is quite different than the bivalve. Where this is a vegetarian, these are actually carnivores. They consume meat. So how does this travel about, in its world looking for food? Well, it has a number of sensory devices just like we do. We have sight, sound, taste, touch. All the things that we have, this character will have too. So the next move for that shell would be to retreat into its shell. So it's nicely protected by the rigidity of the shell. And as it retreats, something called the operculum, this actually is attached to the side of the mouth of the shell. The last thing that happens is this operculum will seal off the only avenue for attack that's presented after the shell protects it. This protects the mollusk from being attacked through, the entrance of the shell. So let's set this up here. Here's our bivalve sidled up at the saddle bar, enjoying the day quite nicely. This character senses it up ahead. It will clump its way using its operculum rapidly to the bivalve that will then surround the bivalve with its mouth or mantle. It will take its operculum, put it underneath the hinge of the shell, and then drive this shell up into the lip of its own shell and wedge open the bivalve. After a length of time, maybe 20 minutes or so, the shell will be accessed through the opening. Out of the mouth comes a clear tube called a proboscis that will probe into the meat of the clam. And out of the proboscis, very often a set of teeth will appear. It will rasp the meat up into little bits and pieces and draw those little pieces up through the proboscis into the gullet, and that's how it gains its source of food. This shell started its life as that tiny little shell that we see right there, and over the course of its consuming food and living its life, it will lay a mucus layer right along the lip of its shell here, and through the mucus, through its own chemistry, that area will calcify and become the next growth band. So as we see on this lightning whelk, and now as we look carefully on all the rest of the shells, we see where it's grown incrementally. We're traveling backwards in time now to where this started its life as that tiny little shell right there, and then grows incrementally as it lives its life.